We are... Are we live? We're live. I'm pretty sure we're live. Hello, everybody. This is Professor Bopper here for a special stream, a very fun stream that I hope for all of us we are going to be playing Esperia, Uprising of the Scarlet Witch, a indie SRPG that released fairly recently on Steam. Although maybe fairly recently is doing a lot of work because it's taken a long time to kind of get this showcase kind of going between you know, this summer where teeth and cats and school and work and everything's been eaten up, but finally here, finally doing it with the game's developer, PrismAlice. Hello.
Hello.
So we're gonna do just a general run through of the game, not the whole game. You know, I don't plan to be here for 15 hours. But we're gonna play a few chapters, really kind of dig into this. But before we get started, is there anything you'd like to say about the game? Introductions about yourself, or what you want us to be focused on as we watch and play?
I'm not really sure. Basically, the game, like a lot of indie SRPG done with SRPG Studio, has Fire Emblem mechanics, so you will definitely feel at home with this. But rather than Fire Emblem, it's more, I guess it's closer to game like Eien no Estelia or Utawale Lumono, if you know this game. It's a mix between visual novel and strategy. So, yeah, the main point I'd say is that you really have those two aspects. So you do have a lot of visual novel part on top of the map and strategic part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and because of that, we're gonna focus on we're gonna bring the story into the forefront a little bit in this, because. Which is weird because a lot of times on stream or in any type of Fire Emblem discussion, it's always just assumed, just skip the story. So we're gonna bring a focus today a little bit on the story. Now I have played this game, just to be clear right from the beginning. I've played this game. I got this game early, which I appreciate. And for those of you who are real hounds for crazy, this game does now have a randomized mode, which was recently patched in. For the sake of today's stream, just to keep this as easy as possible, we're going to go on normal mode for this. I don't know, is there a difficulty that you would personally recommend over others to, like, a strategy fans? You think normal's a good starting point, or would you say, like, if you're a big fan of the genre, that hard mode would be where to start?
Well, the thing is, hard really is hard. Like, I think normal is fine for most people. Easy doesn't have the permadeath, so it's like really if you want to go it a bit easier. But the drawback of this is that you don't have the death scene. So, but yeah. I say normal is a good starting point, yeah.
Okay.
And once you feel really, I'd say, confident, you can try hard.
And well, for us today, we're just gonna run normal just so we can get through, because I ran into this when I had played Gales of Nyali on stream. Was that I went in like big tough guy, big strong guy, like I'm gonna play on hard mode, and then got like whooped, and I was like, I really want to showcase the game, but I can't beat it. So I don't want to have that happen again this time. Okay, enter, left click, validate. I've played this game before, just so chat knows, on Steam Deck. So if you want to play it, it is available on Steam. It is a if you want to play it on Steam Deck like me, you're going to have to wrestle with the controls a little bit to get them all set up. But for anyone that's played Vestaria Saga, anyone that's played any SRPG studio game, then you're not going to have any issues with the controls of this game. Do I want to activate the tutorial? Sure. Answering the challenge, Arthur, now king of all men, rose the powerful Excalibur to fight the Dark Knight. After mimicking the unsheathing movement, I looked fiercely at the corner of the room, defying a statue of a dragon that happened to be there. Oh, Dia, your serious face is hilarious. You look just like Father when he's grumpy. As I turned my gaze to face Lillian, I saw the small kitten was all smiles before my rather poor impersonation. That was rather clumsy for a compliment, but it didn't matter as long as she was enjoying the story. I may have forced the trade a little too much, but I couldn't help seeing Father or my brother Arthur in this role. After all, the Hero King was the inspiration for my brother's name. While he was yet to grasp Excalibur himself, there was no doubt he would be deemed worthy. Still, the Dark Knight seemed strong. Be careful, King Arthur. Of course, the Hero King ultimately wins the battle. Several pages later, and here we were, both with teary eyes as he opened his heart to the princess. We would soon reach the end of the story, but something felt amiss. I didn't remember there being so many pages left. As my eyes kept moving along the beautiful lines, I suddenly paused. The true meaning of the story I was trying to reenact for Lillian was suddenly revealed to me, all through a single word. Witch. Hidden in the maze of words, the peculiar arrangement of these beautiful letters, so easily recognizable by now, was far from innocent. Suddenly, I felt like I couldn't breathe properly, as if my throat had just been sliced open by some traitorous blade. Witch. The scourge of magic. The disease. The curse. Burnt by the dragon's fire. Dia? Lillian whispered softly to me. Her hesitant voice conveyed her worries. But as I turned to her, I could only see compassion and respect in her eyes. Her pure golden eyes, so similar to the dragons of the past. I felt the warmth of her touch on my hand, and with it, a sense of relief. I was shaking. How pathetic. What a failure if a big sister starts quivering near her sibling. Oh, it's a bit cold in here, don't you think? Even as the words escaped my mouth, I knew she would never buy it. But I needed to keep up appearances at least. Then we just need to cuddle more. She leaned her head slightly to rest on my shoulder, and then wrapped her arm around mine. She was warm, warmer than the fire burning in the oven. If possible, I wished we could stay like this forever. But there was something I had to confirm first. Say, Lillian, who did you get this book from? I had my doubts reading the first pages, but now I was certain. No, I was not going to voice act the laughter, Drayson. That was not going to happen. If I can't hear the tilde, it doesn't count. Well, this is why I don't get paid to voice act. This wasn't the usual The Hero King story, and it was a rewriting of the Red Witch myth, an old folktale. A young girl falls in love with the mysterious warrior that saved her, and together they face numerous perils and meet new friends on their adventure. The girl is later revealed to be the lost princess of the dragons. The warrior, having received her power and love, managed to save the kingdom and lead humanity to victory in the war against dragons. Up until that point, it's just a romanced version of King Arthur Pendragon and his knight's journey. Most of the modern songs only cover that part, but in the original Red Witch story, it was a gift from Mother. She gave it to me just before leaving. My heart skipped a beat. I knew it. I knew it had to be her. No one but her would have thought of this. I didn't even need to read the full story to know it was a perfect retelling of the original. I see. After saving the kingdom and celebrating their new marriage, and after they lived happily ever after, usual endings of the song, tragedy unfolds. The sister of the hero, driven by jealousy, poisons the princess who dies in her beloved's arms. but not without cursing her killer in her last breath. The murderer's body becomes tainted, covered by the blood of all those she had killed, and she goes on a rampage under the mask of the Red Witch. Out for revenge, the hero uses the power granted to him by the princess, turns into a dragon, and burns the witch alive. I was really surprised. Usually she only gives me those boring history and court manners books. If she wants me to study, at least give me a magic tome or something. I vividly remembered the last part of the original song. The witch crying in pain, her cursed blue eyes lasting beyond her heart to bear witness to her suffering. Yeah, I'm surprised too. Once people used to call me a witch, some still do in the shadows. The second heir of the kingdom, yet a bastard child, born from a union with a nobody. To them, my blue eyes were the ultimate proof. They all thought I couldn't hear them whispering, that I couldn't see their darting glances. But a child knows. The queen, mother, is unexpectedly generous sometimes. Isn't she? It's a shame she couldn't make it today. She had to leave so urgently. It all came back to me. The dark whispers of adults, laughter and scorn, and those eyes avoiding me. Voices in the shadows, in the busy marketplace, along the corridor, and even up to the beautiful guest room. Speaking of the unfathomable, the cursed child, brought there by some whim of the king. And I could clearly remember Mother's voice amongst them. But I hope next time we will be together again. Her warm smile beamed in the dark. It was bright, soft light, giving me strength. It's no secret, Queen Ygritte? How do you pronounce this?
Yeah, Ygritte is fine.
Ygritte?
Yeah, Ygritte is fine. You can do both, honestly.
I always get thrown off when I see, because in English, this is not a sound I'm ever used to making. It's no secret Queen Ygritte favored Liliane over me. She was her legitimate child, and I was but a thorn in her side. Yes, she was our mother. The woman father loved. Liliane's ideal. My queen. It's getting late. Maybe we should stop here. No way! I want to know what happens next. Lily, don't be such a crybaby. Besides, she paused, hesitant. Her arms tightened up around me, and she finally lifted her head to meet my eyes. You're rarely ever at the castle, so please, just for tonight? I couldn't say no to those pleading eyes. I was never able to. No matter what they say, as long as I have my family by my side, as twisted as some members may be, I can move forward. I can believe in myself and work to get people's trust. All right, but only tonight. Yeah, I love you, Dia. Love you too, Lily. 1 year later, present day. Have you found her? Not yet. We tried to secure her in the quarters, but she slipped past the guards. Unbelievable. Mediana's soldiers unable to capture a single woman. What about her escort? Her retainers refused to yield, but we managed somehow to capture the nobles. The collateral damages have been minimal. Lady Bedivere, her dragon knight, remains unaccounted for. Can you say that again? Bedivere?
Yeah, Bedivere.
Bedivere.
No.
Lady Bedivere. She's the most dangerous of the group. Try to avoid contact. We need to retrieve the princess as soon as possible. I never thought the day would come where I'm arresting one of the royals. This means the crime is heavy. We were ordered to bring her back and collect something, so try not to be too rough. It's in situations like these that a counter-order or a mistake could cost all our lives. Understood! Of all the times, you're coming now. What is going on in the capital? Can't afford to lose her. Would you like to be part of the voice acting?
Oh no, please.
Please.
Yeah, you're the streamer here.
Yeah, I know, but I want to make sure if you want to, you can jump in if you feel like if there's one character that you just really love that you want to get in and get that voice going, get the acting out. Then feel free at any time.
Okay, sure.
I still can't believe it. To think the king would order such a thing. This is not the king's doing. King Ulthar isn't so foolish as to begin an internal war when our soldiers are fighting on the front lines. Yet, it wasn't a forged seal. The letter bore the royal mark. Besides, they didn't kill us nobles, even when you were resisting. Only the squires and servants were put to the blade. Marius, hold your tongue, or I'll make you do so. There isn't a chance in a million the king would go after his own daughter. This is a coup d'etat. Case closed. Oh, I'm so trying to resist the urge to say, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the old Fire Emblem Guide and fan translation.
No, not really.
I failed to resist it, because there's a mistranslation early on where Lucas says General Tozin went coup d'etat with his plan. And I think of it every time I see the phrase coup d'etat now. Especially in an SRPG. Please be safe, Lady Diana. I'm counting on you, Bedivere. How easy it must be to hold such deep beliefs. I'm envious, Lady Eleonora. It all happened so suddenly. The horns of Mediana resonated along the stoned walls, announcing the coming of royal guests. I immediately got my favorite red armor off the wall and equipped it one piece at a time. There were a number of formal attires I could have chosen for that occasion, but I particularly fancied that one. Eyeing myself in the mirror, I adjusted my hair and my attire from different angles. I knew it was impossible, but I think I was expecting father. No one else would come unannounced like this come nightfall. At least, not if it were a friendly visit. As I was leaving the antechamber, I heard a number of surprised cries and the sounds of fighting. They were shortly followed by waves of panic and bewilderment when the servants noticed the royal emblem of the troops. I quickly looked at the gardens where dragon riders had landed, and I was struck speechless. A special force had been dispatched to the castle, quickly subjugating the soldiers despite my retainer's oppositions, and before I knew it, I was running away to safety, looking for Ursula, only to be caught by the enemy group. What is the meaning of this? Get your hands off me at once! The soldier remained silent. I tried to make eye contact with him several times, but he wouldn't even look me in the eyes. It kind of ticked me off, because I wasn't sure if he was doing that out of respect for the Pendragon, or out of fear of being bewitched. Staying silent won't get you anywhere. Do you have any idea what you're doing? I'm the princess! He stopped, pausing for an instant. It felt like he wanted to say something, but he refrained from it, and quickly resumed his march, dragging me along. Then it happened. There was a colossal impact, and the sturdy windows of the castle suddenly burst, along with the wall itself. A powerful dragon appeared before us, like an unstoppable force of doom destroying the castle. The soldiers and I were taken by surprise, a look of terror invading our faces, until I recognized its fearless rider. "Milady! Ursula!" As the dragon roared, Ursula raised her axe in the air, staring at the troops menacingly. "A dragon knight! That's bad! Call for reinforcements!" "No way! It just burst through the wall!" Never before had I been so happy to see a dragon, as frightening as they may be. The dragon roared once more, and as the soldiers were taking position, spears at the ready, it mercilessly charged through their defensive line. Ah! The brutal charge settled the fight in mere seconds. Most of the soldiers were knocked down or sent flying on the wall, armor and weapons shredded all the same. The sheer power of the impact left them unable to stand up, and yet none of them looked like they were dying. The dragon stopped a few inches from me, still trembling, and Ursula extended her hand to me. "Ursula?" "I'm here, milady. I've secured our weapons. For now, get up. We have to escape." No words could quite describe the scene. In the aftermath of the battle, a single woman stood atop a brutal dragon, her body bathed in the serene moonlight. She leaned forward and extended her hand to me. She was my knight. "Reinforcements are coming. Let's break through their formation. Milady, we have to escape. There is no time to take anything with you. We need to reach the outer walls quickly." "But what about the others? We have to save them, or..." "We don't have that luxury. The enemy is closing in, and reinforcements are likely already en route." "Don't call them enemies. The soldiers are just distressed. I'm sure I can reason with them. Besides, this is my castle. What princess leaves her domain fleeing like some dog?" "Milady, This is no longer your castle, and those men are no longer your soldiers. We need to leave now. Pointless arguing can come after that. Pointless? Just who do you think you... The goal of this map is for Diana to escape the castle. In order to do that, you need to reach the zone. Outside the door, if you're too slow, reinforcements will come. You can check the objectives on the map in the menu. Just click on any empty tile. Victory and defeat conditions vary by map, so be sure to check this regularly. Okay, that was a mouthful. But I feel like that's, you know, part of this. I saw a handful of questions in chat that I think are worth addressing. But the very first thing I'm going to start by saying, because it stuck out to me the first time I played, and it jumped out at me again this time, is that you had said, you know, this is part SRPG, this is part visual novel, and I can't think, at least off the top of my head, of any SRPGs that have a first-person narrator. You know, there's plenty that are, you know, that have like a narrator in general, but having the first-person perspective of our Lord is interesting and fairly unique. So I'm just curious what the inspiration for that was. Why did you decide on like that perspective to tell the story?
Oh, from? Yeah, that's because I played too many Japanese visual novel, and actually, it's not really most of Japanese SRPG, like visual novel SRPG, are on the first person. Like, yeah, someone mentioned Sakura Wars, but basically Tears to Tiara, Ian Celia, yeah, Utawari Mono, like they're all like this. So, and yeah, I think I mean, you have some scene in the third person when it's not Diana speaking. Like sometimes you switch to another person perspective, but I think the first person also brings more emotion, and like, how can I say, in recent Fire Emblem, you kinda have this trend of you kinda identify to the hero, like whether it's the summoner in the mobile game, or whether it's like it's self-insert people, you know. And when it's, how can I say, in this game you really have a different hero. Like Diana is someone unique. It's not you. So if you tell it in the first person, it kind of helps to, you know, to kind of feel the story in our truth.
Yeah, because one of the I mean, I agree with that, because that opening scene is relatively long, but it is really nice to have a lot of writing, but it's not all just dialogue. That we're getting all those inner thoughts, you know, that you're talking about, to bring in more of the emotion that doesn't get brought out a lot of times in dialogue, or seeing like the contrast between, you know, in that conversation with Lily at the beginning, she's thinking one thing, she's saying another, and I think that contrast, you know, especially from the visual novel perspective, you know, I think it adds a lot of richness to this character early on. Now, and someone asked, Drayson asked, who did the art for this? He's impressed with the number of original assets.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually, I have 3 different artists. Like, one did the main the main art, the one you have in your thumbnail, and the 2 other, you have one person who did all the character design, like almost all the character design, and another person did all the CG art, like the event art.
So like the dragon just now bursting through the wall.
Yeah, the dragon was actually done by a different artist than the character itself, but yeah, all the CG are done by one person, and almost all the character design by another.
All right, so just want to look here now, because I've made a movement. let's make more and see what happens here. So immediately I'm noticing here, Knight of Princess never falters. Ursula has a chance to survive with 1 HP. +5
You overall
I always love seeing the skills here because I feel like there's a lot of, especially indie SRPGs, there's a lot of creative skills, and I do like all the new character art that you get the full portrait here. Adds +5 defense during the enemy in battle during battle in units army phase. So during player phase, we just get +5 defense on Ursula. +5 damage every other turn with an even number. And attacks inflict enemies with the status Terrified for 1 turn. Reduce skill, defense, and res. Okay, Ursula seems really good.
Yeah, she's a competent dragon.
Wait. Oh, hold on. I don't remember if this is you. I guess you could say if this is something that was updated or not, because I don't recall this. But the enemy targeting lines.
Oh, no, I think it was in the base version, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it was in the base version.
To be fair, playing on Steam Deck sometimes does weird things because it on this, I probably just forgot because it's been a while. But let's just see what happens. Let's look at the animations here.
Yes, someone in chat asking if Ursula is a dragon or if we are set. I mean, she's probably closer to set, but I don't think she can solo the game because it really becomes difficult afterwards, and she's a flying unit, and at some point you really have a lot of archer and mage units. Also in hard mode you have a lot of archer and mage unit to compensate for Ursula. So yeah, she can't really solo the game, but she's really good.
Yeah, she seems really, really good right now because we just one shot. When I played the game on my own personally, I believe I played on hard mode because I don't remember ever one-shotting anything at this point.
Oh yes, that's because that's the first chapter.
Yes.
Soon she won't be able to even chat.
Yeah, but I don't remember doing this even at this point in the game. So let's see. How do I want to do this? So Diana's got Red Dance. Adds half her magic to damage. Is that sometimes? Oh, magic times 3%. So she has about a 9% chance right now.
Yeah, at first it's actually a very useful one, but later it becomes really good.
25. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, she crushed everything on the first map. I mean, the first 4 maps are part of the tutorial, actually. Like it's part when you have the tutorial message, and there's the one in the demo. So it's, I mean, the real, I guess, chapter 2 start to have some difficulty because the enemy boss has skill, and I'd say chapter 5 is already one of the hardest. So it's like the it has difficulty spike from chapter 4x5, who becomes quite hard.
So like when you were so you're talking about like the early maps being, you know, easier, being like kind of tutorials. Like what was your like philosophy you had like towards tutorials? Like how simple did you want to make a map, and was there like a game that you had like as an inspiration for how you did the tutorial?
Yeah, actually, like my main Fire Emblem game was Rekanoken, so the 7th. I really like it. It's like my favorite one. Again, I probably played like several hundred hours in it. and yeah, the tutorial is kinda inspired from here because I like how easy it is to get on board. Honestly, I'm not. I would say again, I'm probably biased, but it's probably one of the best games to start the Fire Emblem 7. Because it's really easy to get into. The tutorial is not like spamming you with info. It like you get a first. You can say you have first a map when you learn the triangle. I say weapon triangle because you have riders who can have lances and a sword. Then you have another map where you get introduced with the mage and the healer. I mean, the game, the level design and the game design on the tutorial is really good. And so yeah, that's why the first map are a bit like this. Like you don't start with 10 units and you have to figure out what they do. You start with 2 units, 4, 5, and each unit brings you a new aspect of the game.
And let's see, I saw Nin pointed out I spotted a cool German word. I missed it because I don't speak German.
So yeah, probably Draken.
Which one?
I reckon the lance, the spear. Sorry.
Okay, so the spear is the weapon.
Yeah, Draken.
Okay, I'll have to pay attention to that when we. Wait. Oh. Okay, chat. I'm a little sorry, but I'm gonna. This is why I'm a bad host, because I see this and where are you? And I'm so sorry. Ursula jumped off her dragon and grabbed my head, leading me through a small staircase going upward. Priscilla, her dragon, remained behind. Her powerful roar echoed through the castle to frighten our pursuers. Will it really be all right? And also, hello, Vivian. Vivian's no, there was a question. Not from Vivian. Vivian just said, I've seen the game around on Twitter. I hope it's going well. You'll probably get to it later, asks Specklin, but I'm really curious about how classes are implemented, if at all. I guess that's something we can think about for...
yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the class system in Fire Emblem. Like, usually when there's a class system, I just change all my unit to Pegasus Knight, so it's not really a big fan of it. I prefer like the GBA or the old Fire Emblem one, when you have one class, and I mean, you don't really have branches in this one, but you have special classes and you can unlock with story event. So if you do the character story event, you can unlock special promoting classes for the base unit. But otherwise, it's like your base unit has one class to move into.
Yeah, okay, so linear classes, and so when you're saying like the bonus classes that you get, that's like you said you do the correct story event and then you unlock the class. So basically optional, I guess do they function as like promotions or?
Yeah, actually it's basically it's links to support, and so if you have a support between some characters, you will unlock additional story with those characters. So they're the only playable in the map. And at the end of the map, you gain several rewards, and one or several of them are for the base unit, a promotion into a special class.
Okay, that's
so,
actually.
So it's only for base unit, but.
You know, that's really cool because, you know, because I know a lot of people love the Fates reclassing system, the Fire Emblem Fates system, and the issue sometimes with Fates, I think for some players, is that there's just so many options. It's like not as much as like a Three Houses or a Shadow Dragon, but there's still a lot because there's partner seals and heart seals and friendship seals and offspring seals, and there's so many different seals. And I think it's interesting the way you describe it, that like specifically you said supports, so like using supports is like the main form of customization. I think it's a really interesting and unique take, because that's usually just a side feature or not one at all in most SRPGs.
Yeah, I mean, I said support because like everyone who knows Fire Emblem probably knows support, unless they only play like the one, like Fire Emblem 1, but ultimately everyone knows this. Actually in Esperia it's called Bonds, but it's the same mechanic, like you stay near a unit and you get points. And for Diana, actually, depending on the choice you make in the story, you didn't have any choice up until now, but sometimes, as in other visual novel, you have choices. And depending on the choice, you will get affection points from different units. So that affects the support. But yeah, actually, I'm tried with this game to make support like relevant. I feel like it has been lost in some recent games. And so basically, on the first level of support, you have the thing you usually have in Fire Emblem. So when you're close to other units, you have a bonus in critical or hit or defense or whatever. And on the second level, like the unit actually exchange their skills. So you get a skill from the class of another unit. So you can do a bit of thinking, a bit of combination, like trying to, I don't know, like someone saying they wanted to make a priestess a murderer, but well, actually, if you make the good support, the priestess with the occultist, for example, she get a skill, occultist skill, who will up her magic when she's attacked or something like this. So you can do a bit of thinking on this as well.
Okay, now one thing that you mentioned in there, talking about like choices that you make in the story. How I don't know if this is something that you would consider necessarily like a spoiler or anything, but how are choices in this game generally? Are they going to how important are they as far as like, are there route splits? Is this going to be like determining different objectives, or is it just like character stuff, or how intense would you describe the decision making in the game?
It's mainly changing the scene in the game. So like, depending on what choice you made, you will, like, Diane will go in one direction or one another. Like, to put an example, at some point, she's in a city in fire, and you have a choice to either rescue the people trapped in the fire, or to go after the person who likely set up the fire, and it will give you two very different scenes. It will change some of the relation with other characters, but right now you only have one main route with one end and one bad end, actually. I would probably definitely implement an alternate route, but for now, the choice really are linked to new events and affecting the relationship between Diana and other characters. Well, sometimes you actually at some point it changed the map, because I have like one time where the map entirely changed depending on the choice you made, but that's a one-time thing. Oh yeah.
So it seems like it's very much, because you were talking about Fire Emblem 7, because that's a game that has because 7 has like those very minor route splits where just decisions that you make throughout the game can cause like one map to be a different version.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, the choice also have like a morality thing, but the morality thing isn't linked to an alternate route yet. So you can get the point for it, but it doesn't give you the alternate route.
Oh, okay. I am sorry. I got rid of the cat, and then I realized the other cat was also still in the room, and then I opened the door for him to leave, and now they're both attacking me. So, hello, Pumpkin. Okay, so you had said a morality feature is like in the game, but it doesn't really affect anything.
Yeah. For now it doesn't have any lasting effect, but it will have.
So I recognize this track from Vestaria Saga, says Drayson. What do I win? Yeah. See, I don't know how music works in SRPG Maker. I don't know if there's songs that are like pulled or what.
Actually, they have a set of assets that are already inside SRPG Maker, like the background here, is one of those, and some of the track come from it. I think I have like 11, 12 or something like that. 12 or something tracks that are original tracks. And I probably use the other half with the Vestia Saga, the SRPG Studios track. It's Vestia Saga use them. It's normally recognize it.
So did you compose the original tracks, or was there somebody else that worked on?
Yes, I have no talent whether it's on music or art, so I paid people to.
So I mean that's fair. There's way too much that goes into a game, because when you had talked when you sent the game to me originally, and I was like looking at it, all the artwork, all the music, the writing, the gameplay, I was thinking there's no way one person could do all this. I assume you are designing and writing.
Yeah, I'm actually doing, obviously all the writing and, the map design and the implementation, and basically I'm paying people for the art, music, and and I guess I paid one person for like 2 or 3 critical animation, but all the other I did them either myself or I took some of some people some people do critical animations and I give it for free. What I did otherwise is like customizing it and doing like all the UI UI in English. Basically the the drawing behind and things like this. So
well, it's something I actually I would like to talk at some point about, like the process of writing, because this just seems like so much, and just sort of the inspiration and everything. But I want to table that just for a second, because we just started a new gameplay section here.
And you met this girl.
Yes. So, because everyone was immediately reacting like, Ross? Is this Ross? He's one axe. I think Becklin said, "Where's his bro Rim and Grim?"
Grim. Yeah, Ross was the main reference I gave to the artist, so that's why it looks similar in the clothes and things like this. Like I gave Ross, and I don't know who's a character I gave. It was like this Ross and one another.
Okay, so let's look. Okay, so you got us a new character. You got us a little archer here, nature child. Walk through forest with no penalty and cross rivers. Okay, so finally, finally, more Takumi, more good archers. That is one way to make archers good. I feel like people mess around with the stats too much. Just have them be mobile. Because you'd referenced Fire Emblem 1 earlier. It's always funny playing Fire Emblem 1 and Gordon has the worst movement on your whole team. Because I think he takes an even bigger terrain penalty than Draug. Once again, Archer good.
Archer are good actually. Like in Esperia, they can shoot to 2 to 3 tiles. So it actually gives them an edge over mages. Because otherwise they're just bad mages.
Okay, so we got to route the enemy here. I see a little house we're gonna want to visit. So imagine Diana here. We're gonna want some levels on, so I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, she's level 1.
Yeah, which is not that good. It's turn 1. Let's take a risk turn 1.
Yeah, I mean it's normal mode, so
yeah, it should be fine.
I did see people losing in easy mode on chapter like 3 or 4 because like they weren't used at all the game. So I actually had someone losing all the units in chapter 3 and I was like, oh, so that's possible.
Ooh, I just noticed. Okay, Sylvie and Diana have a conversation, so we're gonna want to definitely probably want to try to get that.
I shared one with Ursula too, actually. Strange,
So-
it doesn't display it. Maybe it display when you're clicking on Ursula.
Draken. Okay, there's that German name. How for the in battle conversations? The game I always think about for in battle conversations is Genealogy of the Holy War. And I'm curious, like, in this game, do you have our in battle conversations? Are they like a mix of character building and some that actually have like gameplay benefits? Is it all character building? Like, what's the kind of?
Oh yeah, it's mainly character building. Like you get, some are just here for fun, but it's mainly. Do you talk the one during the battle or during the map? Because you have kind of two of them, but if you're talking about the one during the map, you can also use them to recruit people. But mainly, it's mainly for that. You don't really have. It's mainly character building. You sometimes when you do, like when you have specific dialogue in battles, well, if you send the good character against the boss, you do have some lore and sometimes some exclusive scene, but most of the time it's just a nice bonus.
Ooh. All right, let's try. Okay, actually getting a house tutorial here. Sylvia's late. I wonder why she's slacking off again. Oh, okay. We didn't need to visit the house. Sure am. Grimm's men are less a threat than the most wild animals around here. Anyway, mind giving us a hand? I've seen Grimm near the mountain. They should disperse if we get him. I see. Okay, get back. I'll take care of the rest. The leader of the bandits, Grimm, is an axe user. Alex being a sword user and Diana is a spear user. We have the opportunity to talk about affinity. Magic and weapons have affinity, meaning one has the advantage over the other. Remember how bows are super effective against flying units? This is a similar concept. Basically, you just have to remember that axes beat lances, lances beat swords, and swords beat axes. It'll be easier to defeat Grimm with the help of your new ally, Alex. Okay, cool. So weapon triangle. I'm so used to weapon triangle just not being a thing anymore that I wasn't even playing around it. I am glad to know. Well, what's the Draken then? Is that that's a spear?
Yeah, it's actually you can see below the HPs of the character. You have the weapons they can use.
Okay. Oh, and it does show a little advantage against because I'm just waiting. Don't do this. This is just me throwing something out here. This is to anybody in chat, anybody that ever wants to make a game. I want somebody to make a game with the weapon triangle in it that reverses the weapon triangle. like just have it be wrong.
Yeah, actually I thought about it, but I thought it was a bit like unfair to people used to Fire Emblem, so I said no, I will keep the normal one.
Yeah, like a Reaver, yeah, but like just the weapon, the actual base weapon triangle would be swords beat lances, lances beat axes, axes beat swords. That would be.
Yeah, it would be funny.
Yeah. Okay, so he doesn't move, you move. Oh, you got like a long bow.
Like the main point of this map is to learn about how terrain gives you an advantage. So basically, Grimm stay on the mountain, which is an advantage map.
Yeah, and then I guess by proxy that also makes the weapon triangle here super important because you have to be able to hit him.
Yeah,
which is hard to do.
I mean, it's really easier to like not send Diana to her death because with her spear she wouldn't. That's a real long.
Well,
Somebody just
it's a good thing we doubled. Mountains is plus 20 avoid. Wait, what is this? Dance sword. Let's actually look.
Yeah,
One
it's
strike.
basically, how do you call them in English? The little one, killing edge or something like this. It's same thing.
Yeah, because it's got 25 crit. I like this. I like this skill a lot. 75% chance to multiply crits by 4. Because I feel like the big problem in a lot of games with like these kind of Myrmidon types is that, oh man, he actually kills us. Do we have a?
Yeah, you should heal. Also, you can save. You can save when you want in the game.
You can save anytime.
Anytime, yeah. Like you just click on an empty tile and you have the save option. Because the game is too hard if you don't do that. Like it doesn't feel like it on the first chapter, but honestly, it's hard at some point.
Okay, well let's try it out. Let's make a little save. The cats are fighting. Oh great. You're fighting bandits too? Who are you? Okay, so alright, that's fun. Let's see. Well, this guy's gonna get washed here by yeah.
Yeah, the dialogue happened after she talked to Diana. I wonder why the Ursula Day wasn't here.
Sylvie, what are you doing here? This happens to be my hunting ground. The let's go. Let's show off all the talks here. Can I see your dragon? It's adorable. Why does Grim look so recruitable? He does. Oh, we can get 20 avoid on the mountain. Ooh.
Yeah, you can.
I'll enemy phase him.
That's the main point. Also, yeah.
I was just saying, I didn't realize I could like get around. I'm so used to like that each game changes who can get on a mountain and who can't. And stop making me go out of my way to kick your ass, Grim. Okay, so they just have consistent problems with this guy.
Yeah, they know each other. Oh, wait, 46%. Yeah, it's actually RN1. So this thing happened.
All right, let's eat some Amadeus.
So I think Grim has a skill, and I wonder if it. Yeah, no. Like, no, it doesn't, probably because it's not level 5. Oh, nice.
So as far as oh my gosh. Okay, I'm being distracted by a million things because now the cat's attacking the blinds. Come on, Big Poppy, go away. Hello, Pumpkin. Okay. All right, back to video game. So for the writing, when you when you set out to make this game, did it start from you wanting to make a strategy RPG, or did it start from like you wanting to tell the story? Like what came first? What was the inspiration for the game, as far as the story and wanting to do the visual novel, and wanting to do it in this genre specifically?
Yeah, actually, I've always wanted to do like a visual novel game, but like I wanted to do one with a gameplay because I really enjoy those. I can't really explain why, but I really enjoy the part where you can just sit back and relax and read the story. and then you have like a difficult map or RPG pass or whatever, and kind of feel like if you dwell into the better part, you are rewarded with the real. I mean, that's how I feel it. And actually, okay, so SRPG Studio, like the software itself, launched in English in August 2018, and that's when I started making this game.
Okay.
Because I was looking for a tool like RPG Maker and all, but RPG Maker doesn't really work well with strategic tactic games. And just at this game, this software launch, I was like, oh, that's kind of sort of a calling or something. It's a sign, and so I bought the game, and I immediately enjoyed the software has a lot of very good things. It's easy to use, it's easy to customize. Well, it has some problem with resolution and that's something I don't like, but it's very useful and very good to make both the visual novel part and the better part.
So you said you've been working on this since 2018.
Yeah, I started on end of August 2018. I did a Kickstarter at the end of 2019. And actually, the game should have launched in 2021, but well, a lot of things happened. COVID happened, and other things happened, and the scale of the game itself kept changing. When you do, it's my first game actually. I didn't mention it, but it's my very first game. And I've watched your video with B-Train. I can talk to him sometimes. I watched your video with B-Train, and I found really interesting how he said he settled for a small game, because I really couldn't do it, and I wish I could. I was about to do it, because it really took 4 years to 5 years actually, almost 5 years to 4.5 to do the game. I mean, I'm really happy with what I get in the end, so it's fine. But yeah, I think it's really a big challenge when you start making any kind of writing content, actually. To know how to scale down your universe, how to scale down the story you want to tell. It's it took a lot of time.
What would you say the most challenging part of that time is? Because you said that, because when me and B-Train were talking about, keep your ambition in check, start small, and how that was like a issue. What was the biggest hurdle then in that? Was it the writing that consumed the most time? Was it the designing? Did one of them come more naturally to you than the other? What was the biggest struggle to kind of get this game through its 4 years of development, or continued development, because you're still updating it?
Well, actually, the story and the writing itself came pretty easily, I'd say. The general story, I'm the way I write is I have a lot of scene coming into my mind, and I try to find a way to link them into a proper story. So that's why I like to put a lot of CG art and such, because most of the place where you have a CG art is because I had the scene in mind, and I'm linking all of those together. And actually, the general story was done in 2019. But I kept writing and rewriting it during 3 years, because I wasn't satisfied with what I was doing. I don't know. Do you write yourself? Basically, when you write, you often want to scrap what you've done and start anew. Like,
Yes.
it happens.
Yes. I know that struggle very, very, very extremely.
So yeah, I'd say the main difficulty was this, like the entire game. If you put all the main game, the character chapters and supports, it's 330,000 words.
Oh my
So
god.
it took a lot of time, and actually the supports themselves are like 100,000. So I wanted to make real support and not just 2 line of characters asking, yeah, who is the ring they were. Yeah, that's what takes the most of time, honestly, because the gameplay itself was almost done in the first 2 years. Almost all the map were done. I did change because I added. You probably won't see it in the first map, but I added a lot of magic that were like magic allowing you to buff other character, like gaining more attack, more magic, more speed, more defense, more resistance, and the same way nerfing other enemies, and also a lot of terrain manipulation. Like you change your surrounding into a forest, or you create a river. I did it before Engage, by the way. They totally copy me. But yeah, it's the gameplay itself didn't change much. It's really the writings that took a lot of time. Yeah, it takes tremendous amount of time.
Yeah, so I want to put this into perspective. By the way, chat, that soundboard Blair was not me. That was me trying to type something in just because I wanted to make like a little comparison, and then the cat started attacking the keyboard and smashed the worst button it could have. So, but yeah, like it's such an enormous amount of writing. I'm not surprised it took that long, because I think you said 330,000 words roughly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's long.
that's about a fairly small print. That's about 800, 900 pages, like of book length. So, you know, and that's a lot. And I'm sure, like, you know, revising it, especially if, as you said, you were struggling with wanting to just rip out pages and throw them all in the trash.
Yeah, actually, just checking everything took 1 year, because I actually hired someone to proofread, and actually even with that we have proofreading issue, because like it's 300. You obviously miss something, and actually the entire proofreading thing span was almost a year, because I hire only one person, so I mean, there is a limit to how much you can read the story at a time. So yeah.
I really can't emphasize enough how much I do appreciate the perspective, the POV, the style here of the writing. Just because it really does feel, I think, a lot like when you were writing 330,000 words is just a ton of words. I keep going back to that number. I don't really want to emphasize like a specific number, but when you have like a large amount of words and they're interspaced like this between dialogue and narration, I think that just makes everything feel a lot more dynamic and a lot less, because you mentioned Engage, and even a game like Three Houses, there's a certain stagnant feeling that I think can come from stuff that's really long, but then everything is spoken dialogue, with, you know, maybe a little narration here and there, but never really any kind of break in the fact that we're just listening to characters talk. So I really like the variety here that were getting
Yeah, thank you.
with it. And you had mentioned that you had done, 4 years is do Ursula's everything next, says Spike. Yes, okay. Will do.
Yeah, you can do it at this level. It probably feel a bit boring, honestly. Although I'm not sure if your weapon can hold, because you have durability in weapon. Oh yeah, no, you can probably, because it's in weapon.
Probably.
Like 16 in total. Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, you're one-shotting everything. It doesn't matter. So you had mentioned that you did Kickstarter for this game way back in 2018. That is one thing. Like, Kickstarter is a space I've never been on. Like, I've put in some money sometimes to different Kickstarters and stuff, but it's never something I've never been on the creator end of Kickstarter. So what is that experience actually like of doing Kickstarter, of trying to do it, especially when you're not like a huge name, when you're an indie developer? What is that experience like?
No, it's interesting because, like, actually, when I launched the Kickstarter, it was really the first marketing thing I did. Like, I didn't have a Twitter at the time, so I just launched it a bit out of nowhere, and I was surprised so many people were interested in it, because I had like 200 people clicking on it, which isn't huge when it comes to Kickstarter standard, but for me it was really interesting to see that 200 people were interested by the game. So yeah, it's interesting itself a bit as also as a marketing. Like, you show your game, and it kind of give you a motivation, because, like, if I didn't have those 200 people, I'm not sure the game would have been released, honestly. Because that's like spending 4 years working on the same project. It's not that easy. And the fact that you have backers, like people who wait for the game, motivates you to actually release the game.
Yes.
So I think it helped a lot, for at least for this side. Yeah, it does help a lot, and it can just show you that things are possible. Because honestly, if I didn't do the Kickstarter, the game would have been released on 2019 probably, with no original assets, with just a base asset, and which isn't bad per se. I mean, you can have a good game with base assets at the point, but I'm really happy I got this far, and it's something very original.
Yeah, and I think it does add to it. I think for a lot of people, I think using the base assets, especially for a first game, or if you want to mess around with it, I think it does well. But and you mentioned how development was helped by having a Kickstarter, simply because you had backers who were expecting a game. Which kind of implies to me, because I've been through this experience. I'm sure everybody that does any creative work or any kind of art struggles with this. Was there a point where was there ever like a big like down point? I don't want to be negative, but like, was there a moment where you just felt really stuck with development, and what was it that helped you kind of get through that?
Honestly, it's mainly the writing. Like, I had like probably 3 weeks wondering how I will tie 2 chapters together. And like I was like walking around the street thinking about how I would tie those two them things together, and I literally, I don't know, I have a sort of spark when I was in the shower. I was in the bathroom anyway. and that's when it really took 3 weeks just for that. But other than that, it's mainly writing. You just you just get writer block every 2 months.
Yeah. And I know that experience like a whole lot, and that's why I was curious to know, because I've had times where I've like sat down and I've been working on something, and I'm like, I'm ready to throw my hands up and quit. I'm like, I can't do this. Everything I've written is bad, But then knowing like there's people that expect it, and kind of trying to work through it's an interesting part of the process. It's definitely a lot more work, I would imagine, than people probably assume.
Yeah, well, if you want a number, since you like numbers, I can give you my spend time on SRPG Studio.
Okay, so I definitely, because SRPG Studio is it's on Steam, right? So it does count your hours. So you
count your hours, and it's really.
I want to hear this. I do want to hear this. I want to know how long, because would this be? Well, this wouldn't even count all your time writing. Did you do all of your writing inside SRPG Studio, or did you do it on Word documents and then bring the stuff over?
There were some of them outside, like the prologue. Somehow, I did it entirely on Word. I can't remember why, but I just add the rest. I mainly write directly in SRPG Studio. Mm-hmm. But the correction, you say correction in English? I'm not sure. Basically, the revision, of the story, they're done on Google Docs, so it's a bit different. But I think if you had a couple hundred hours, it's currently 3,215 hours, which is actually on 4 years. It's legit.
3,000. 3,300. Yeah, but that is
you're right.
That's both a lot. I feel like that amount is it is both terrifying, but like you said, over the course of 4 years, if you
honestly, you can do a decent game in SRPG Studio with 100 hours or something. Mm-hmm. It's really me rewriting the game time and time again, and mm-hmm. That's mainly this. That's I'm really happy with the end results, and it's really long.
I want to talk about this customized feature here really quick, but what I do, I just ran it just for the curiosity for everyone else, is if we average that out over the course of 4 years, that's about 60 to 70 hours a month in SRPG Studio, which is both a lot, but also I think the number 3,000 is scary. The number 70 is not so much. So this is very doable. It just takes a while. I do like this that Drayson said. I don't believe it's possible to ever finish anything until you grasp the concept of, quote, they're going to get what they're going to get. And that he's still working on accepting that. That to me is an impossible thing to accept until the due date arrives and I'm like, oh, yep, the video's going out. The whatever I wrote or whatever I did is going out. It's going in there, and that's the way it's going to be. Because you had referenced earlier today, you were talking earlier about how you still updating the game, like the morality system that's still in there. Are you still, how much are you still working on this game? Is it pretty much like what's the long term for Esperia as far as any continued development?
The next part, there's actually 3 character chapter I'm rewriting right now. Mm-hmm. So the same, they couldn't be done in time for the first for March 1st. So and since I had already postponed the launch of the game for about 2 years, I said, okay, stop. Someone said in the chat, at some point you just have to say, okay, it's a good game, I will launch it and I will make it better afterwards. Mm-hmm. So what I will do now, finish those 3 character quests. The rest, actually one character that doesn't have, all the support of the bounce inside, so I will change it. But other than that, the next steps, there are like 2 character chapters that I'm supposed to do with bakers
Mhm.
for Kickstarter. So they will be done probably at the end of the year and implemented in extra map, like the one you can do at the base. There is a fan service chapter because I stupidly said on Kickstarter, oh, if I have 200 people, I will do a fan service chapter. And somehow I had like 205 people or something. The people at the end just wanted the fan service chapter, I don't know. So there is one I'm supposed to do, and I'm not sure what fan service it will be, probably made or something. So we'll have to get a set for this one. And there is actually, yes, the alternate story I want to do for Diana, which won't be that long, but will still cover like probably 5 or 6 chapters at least. So it will take a couple months to write. And there is one another, but I'm not sure if I will put it in DLC or a new game, but basically with the Kickstarter again. I have a very good idea to say that I will do a route exclusively for Lilian. So, so there will be a route for Lilian, and it will probably be next year, probably end of next year, because it will take a lot of time to write. So that's the current state of things, and later I will probably do a sequel. But yeah.
Just to drop another 3,000 hours into
No, I want against 3,000 world, honestly. But yeah, it would probably be 200,000.
Yeah. Okay. I was just catching up on chat here real quick. Is this game going to be shown at FEE3? FEE3 is as far as I know, it's just like ROM hacks. I don't think they do anything like this. I don't even remember if I had mentioned it, chat, but I did a FEE3 video last year. So check it out. But that's besides the point. Okay, one thing I had just noticed, and I wanted to ask about this, is that in the unit, in like the management screen before started actually like playing, I noticed that there was this option to spend points to upgrade stats, and it looks like when you level up, you get points. Is that correct? Like, first of all, that I'm like understanding it. Like, when you level up, you get points, and then you can spend those points to get extra stats.
Yeah, that's exactly like you get 2 points every level up, and you can spend them to change your stats. That's made because, well, sometimes you have bad level up, like often in online games, and this feature exists for two. One is to compensate for the bad level up, like your fighter doesn't have a strength level up, so you can spend points to increase it, because it actually costs less points to increase something you have a high growth rate in. So basically, like a knight will have a high growth rate in defense, but you can sometimes miss the defense level up. So this helps you compensate this, and it also helps you to customize your character. That's what it's called, customize, because you can, I don't know, put all your points in defense for your priestess so she doesn't get killed, or you can, I don't know, your point in speed on your knight. Well, that's a bit stupid, but you can do it. I mean, it's a way to help you compensate bad level up, or customize your unit a bit more, because most of the unit, actually all the units, they do have like let's say general purpose in life. Like the archer will be used always to kill like the flying unit or whatever, but I don't think it's I mean, it's better if you can change it a bit. So I don't know, if you get a weapon that can use magic, for instance, you can suddenly pour your point into magic or something like this. It helps you, customize a bit your unit.
Yeah,
it's not really a lot. You will probably get, I don't know, maybe 7 or 6 or 7 stat or something like this by class. So it's not a tremendous thing, but it can really help some point.
Yeah. Also, I just want to, because I think it's the first time, maybe it's the first time it's come up, so I just wanted to point it out to chat, which is that we have Thracia EXP, because I just got experience from getting hit with a bow and then doing nothing to retaliate. So that, I like seeing that. I need a deadline for sure. I'll be editing ad nauseum, correction ad infinitum, literally proving your own point. Yeah, you have to stop yourself at some point. But since this game has a like otherwise, like other than the stuff you're describing, just because in case anybody who's watching it is curious, I mean, this game, you would say at this point this game is like complete. You know, it's still getting like bells and whistles and some extra stuff added, but like the story is complete. The campaign is a complete story.
Yeah, definitely. Like you have all the stories, and you have like 99% of the support stories. So basically, you're just missing like a couple of character quests that will put inside. And I'm still commissioning the artist to add some arts to it, like changing some background or something like this. And I will probably maybe change some of the UI because I'm not 100% satisfied with our like the battle one. It's a standard battle one that I don't know. I think it's good, but could be better. So there are probably a couple of things that will change, but yeah, the game itself is complete. Like you have people who spend like a lot of time on it. So yeah, it's definitely complete.
And well, last I had seen, this game is currently, just to sort of mention its current state, it's on Steam. It is let me double check this before I say it, because I had just posted this earlier, but it was yeah. So this game is currently available, just for everybody in chat. This game is available in a bundle, SRPG Studio bundle on Steam, 15% off. That includes this game, Grey Heritage, which I did the video with B Train on, and also another game called Walk with the Living, by a developer, Brayfield Cole, who I will. Well, there will be. I guess just teaser. There will be some stuff with that game as well soon. But right now, this game is 15% off in that bundle.
Yeah. We just actually launched it, I guess, on Monday. It was on Monday. I mean, it's a good idea to basically to emphasize on SRPG Studio game because like everyone know RPG Maker, but SRPG Studio you don't really know it a lot. And so yeah, it's a good thing if you want to try several SRPG games. I mean, maybe we will have other SRPG games when they launch on it afterwards.
So your Commando. This is why sometimes I can't read. I get to the point where like I just stumble over every word. But also, what's up, Blind Coco Studios? We inflicted terror. That's really cool because I don't think any enemy has survived a round of combat with Ursula until right now. So, and when they do survive a round of combat, they're inflicted with terror. Oh, okay. Okay, this is awesome. Also means we get another Sylvie kill here, and probably a Sylvie level up. Certified
Yeah.
Nyla moment. Yes. Also, hello, Hazel.
Unless we miss. She doesn't miss.
Well, if she did miss, we would have had Ursula to fix the problem, so it wouldn't have been so bad. Ooh, Gold God.
Nice.
Is Sylvia Rebecca or a Takumi? Asks Blind Coco. And it's Takumi. Her skill is literally Fujin Yumi.
Her skill is 100% Takumi's because it's busted and skill. Like Takumi is very not balanced. Because it's the character that and it killed me because I didn't like the character at all in Fate. So I was like, oh please, yeah. But yeah, she's more balanced Takumi.
More balanced Takumi. She's not rolling over the game entirely, so
Yeah, but she's really good honestly. Yeah, because Archer are a bit better since we have like three range bows.
It seems like the character right now that's just doing the least is Diana and Alex, which the Lord and the early game Myrmidon not doing anything just feels like a return to old Fire Emblem. Like this just feels comfy to be having that experience.
Yeah, but Diana is actually very good too, because at the first part of the game you have you have some bandits, so you have X unit, but it's mostly soldiers, so you have a lot of like spear and sword unit. So she's very good at the beginning. You have a good she have high growth, and using a spear make her better than a sword user. That's just my opinion. I'm not really a sword user.
I want a game where everyone's an Est. I want to make my own Jagan, damn it. It is very satisfying to one-shot enemies with Ursula. It's also just satisfying to have a flyer and a wyvern at that really early on in the game, just because we don't get that often. So it's a cool little unique thing going on here.
Yeah, actually, it's more a story thing than a gameplay thing, because like it had to be a Dragon Knight for a lot of reasons in the story. So so I kept it as a Dragon Knight, and it's cool because the rider, like Paladin, Chagan are a bit tired of it personally. And I've never found like the rider to be that good. Like they just get stuck in every terrain. It's a pain.
It's because I think like, you know, as good as someone like Marcus is in FE7, like there's a ton of maps where Marcus just moves 2 spaces because he gets chewed up by all the terrain. Oh, accidentally clicked away from the game. There we go. This is where Gilliam died to a 3%, if you remember correctly. Yeah, no. But we do get an arena here, so that's always cool. Or, well, we're outside of an arena. Governor's Villa stood atop a small hill in the city. It was quite a fancy house, protected on some parts by high walls. It couldn't compare with the castle in terms of defenses, but it was to be expected since Castor wasn't a military city. At our approach, the guards that were protecting the main gate readied their weapons, and I could see one of them rushing behind to call others. As for the reason they started panicking, a dragon rider, who are you? It's not hard to scare soldiers when an immense dragon is coming at them. I'd be scared too if Ursula was coming at me. These are the most relatable castle guards I've ever seen. This is a true anti-gatekeeper moment. There weren't that many noble houses that owned a dragon in this region, so that must have been the other reason. Put down your weapons, guards. You are in the presence of Mediana royalty. I'm escorting Diana Altria Pendragon, second princess of Mediana. Not rehearsing these lines. I have a lot of respect for actors because they really just rehearse this and get this correct. Tell Governor Melphus I've arrived. The princess. Look at her hair and armor. She's probably the real deal. The guards immediately withdrew their weapons and bowed down to me, profusely sweating. Even if they never saw me before, the sight of two women in unique armor and a dragon was enough to clear their early suspicions. The captain came in less than a minute later, and we were granted a special audience with the governor. I bet he's panicking too. The inside of the villa was much more beautiful than the outside. It was on an entirely different level. Blue tapestry on the walls, beautiful tiled floors, epic paintings, flower decorations. This was gorgeous. This place was much smaller than my own castle, but I was quite jealous of the artistic sense. Yes, Diana cares about the aesthetic. I can get behind this. After a couple of turns and some stairs, we finally reached the guest house, where Governor Melphus waited for us. To be fair, you're still trying to keep it cool. Half the skill in voice acting and honestly regular acting is not being afraid to look or sound like a goofball. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more so like because I haven't read the lines before. I don't want to overemphasize like on one. Like, I don't want to go goofy on a line that turns out to be like serious, where the character had that being serious before. You know, so I'm just kind of keeping it at like an audiobook level right now. Like, if I knew, you know, I'd probably go more in. But I don't want to give a wrong impression of the tone, especially in a showcase. Princess Diana, it's such an honor to welcome you within these walls. I deeply apologize for the rudeness of my guards earlier. I'm certain this modest castle can't begin to compare with your fortress, but you can't be assured you'll receive our utmost hospitality. You have my thanks for this, Lord Melphus. The mistake earlier is already forgotten. Lord Melphus. I vaguely remembered seeing him a couple years ago. He was an old friend of Father's. In just a short time, he had changed quite a bit. He was roughly in his 40s right now, and he looked so much older than the last time we met. I felt a bit uneasy at first, but his warm smile and gaze hadn't changed. We greeted each other, and he led me to a long table, withdrawing the chair from me as I sat down. I guess I don't know which songs were original composed for this game and which are from the SRPG studio, because I don't know if this reference will mean anything to you or to anyone else, but a lot of the music reminds me of Ys music. Like, yeah, Ys 1 and 2 have music that sounds like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was original because I don't hear it right now, but I can check. Right.
This one is our SRPG Studio, you think? Says Drayson. Will Lady Bedivere join us later on? I certainly wouldn't mind having someone of her rank at my table. She's excusing herself for tonight. Ursula is a hard worker, and to my distress, not the most fitting in high society. That's unexpected. House Bedivere was always famous for competing both on the battle and the political field. Indeed, this role fits more with her sister. But I couldn't dream of a more loyal knight than Ursula. House Bedivere was by far the most respected house in Mediana. The only one who could hope to rival its popularity was House Gawain. They've been serving the royal family for centuries and were known for housing the best knights of the country, both strong and well-mannered. Ursula was certainly lacking in practice in the way of a noble woman, but I've never really cared much. I can handle all the boring parts myself. Oh, Governor, I've come a long way, and the trip was fairly exhausting. Would your house happen to have a bath? Naturally, the preparations will be made this instant. I fear your travel was harsh and you haven't got a decent meal for a long time. Our cooks will prepare the finest dinner for you. Would you care to join me for a drink in the meantime? That sounds fantastic. I'm missing the part of a proper glass like you wouldn't believe. I will have to refrain from the wine, unfortunately. I am not of proper age yet. Surely you jest, princess. Wine is indeed something we adults keep for ourselves in our selfishness. But both in matter of intelligence and looks, you're already a fine lady. Please, have a drink with this old man. I promise my lips will remain sealed. Oh, there he went and said it. The governor certainly had his way with words. Honestly, I'd always wanted to taste wine and other alcohols before. What should I do? What's up, Real Staples Wine? Okay, you're gonna make a little choice. A little wine can't hurt. Or still the tradition. I mean, if I'm role playing properly, earlier we went out and picked the mushrooms. So I feel like we're on the more adventurous side. Like we're already on a. Joke's on her. No one likes wine the first time they drink it. This is me. I've been super powered because as going to Catholic school as an 8-year-old, I got to, drink wine as an 8-year-old. So I love it. I mean, it's just a glass or two. It can't hurt me, right? Then I shall take up your offer, Governor, to Mediana's prosperity and to this promising night. For real, though, my friend gave me wine and I fully spat it out. I'll just keep it a secret from Ursula and Father. It seems our dinner is coming. I'm eagerly awaiting your tales of travel, Princess. Thank you for your work. Warn me the moment you find anything new. Understood. You may leave now. Please, enter. Mother, I brought Lilianne with me. Mother! Oh, Lilianne, my heart. Come here. Mother, how's Father today? That's... Please don't hide it from me, Mother. He's still ill. The doctors and mages are doing their best. But it's not a disease so simple a mere healing staff would cure it. Father! Don't worry. Father's the strongest man in the country. He won't give up so easily. Yes, you're right. Lilianne, can you leave us two for a moment? All right, I will come back later then. Thank you. You always find the right words with her. She's just worried. It's the first time our father has fallen ill. But she's more mature than you believe. She knows how to set limits for herself. She's calm and composed. At this pace, she'll grow up before we realize. Well, she can't stay a child forever. Remember that she is still a Pendragon and the third princess. This is in her blood. Okay, it's been bothering me this whole time because there's another game where a character has the name Pendragon. And I've been trying... it had been like on the tip of my tongue. I was trying to remember what it was. I believe it's Diofield Chronicles. Has a character named Pendragon in it. Shout out to every Diofield Chronicles gamer in chat. I like that game. That game's pretty good. Oh no, the trait doesn't come from Father. I think she takes it from her mother. Is that so? I sure hope she doesn't take all my bad traits as well. So how is Father? There must be a reason why you don't want to see him. Her to see him, right? And where do you get that clairvoyance from, I wonder? The king's condition isn't improving. Medics and mages are all bewildered, and they can't seem to find a cause, only that it's not natural. How's that even possible? They can't find the cause. Please calm down, Arthur. I'm not the only one you should direct your anger at. I'm not angry. Do I look angry to you? Sorry, I didn't mean to. Like father, like son. You have the same temper as him. The medic team is doing its best, but I don't think they'll be able to find the cure themselves. It's beyond them. Then what? What are we supposed to do? What I'm about to say shall not leave this room. I don't have confidence in the castle's people. That is why I always stay by his side. I've asked a foreigner for aid. Someone specialized in older magic. Do you think we can trust them? Since what happened recently, I don't know who I can trust. It looks like even our closest family can betray us. If you're referring to Diana, I'm sure there is an explanation. An explanation? She stole the Orb of Dragons. That's high-class treason, and you know it. It must be a mistake. Enough. I'm not in the mood to discuss it. I would let my feelings get the better of me, and I don't want you to see that. Mother. How are things on the front line? The absence of your father is probably a heavy blow to our army. We're still progressing. We have secured most of the enemy fortress in a very short time and with minimum casualties. That keeps morale up. Congratulations. I must commend your fighting and tactical prowess. It isn't mine, but Lord Midden... Myrdin? Mirden's tactics.
Let's see. It's a Gaelic name of Merlin.
Okay. Alright, interesting. The book he gave us is practically a manual to conquer Phoenixia. Mirden. He's still unreachable. He always had the strange habit of appearing and disappearing at a whim. Deity is th in Welsh. Okay. I don't care about his fancies. I need him right now. Uther needs him. I hope he'll come back soon. That I do too. Arthur, we need you to return to the battle, no matter what happens. Remember where your duty lies. Now you're sounding like him. I know. I'll make sure we claim victory in this war. I'll bring Phoenixia's throne to Father. Very well. But please, be safe. I don't want to lose you. And then, she imitated a deer? Could you believe it? It was so good, too. I see. She must be quite the good hunter. I'm surprised. I never expected you to talk so highly of mere commoners. Do you think it's strange? Members of the nobility rarely ever get close to commoners. It's one thing to have lesser nobles marrying merchants or promising soldiers to get money or fame, but it's entirely different for higher nobles. Royalty is, in particular, never see them eye to eye. Yes, but still, I don't think we're that different. Maybe it's because I'm a special case, but I feel like under different circumstances they could... Lady Diana, I would advise you choose your words wisely. Putting commoners on the same level as nobles could give your enemies more than you already could give you more enemies than you already have. What do you think, Governor? Nobles and commoners? I think everyone has a part to play in society. Nobles have their role, to lead and to make the country prosper, while commoners support them through labor. But that order doesn't dictate one's destiny. There are a number of cases of noble houses going against the flow. I heard the heir of the House of Gareth has entered your service, right? What was his name again? Marius? Yes, and he's adopted too. Would you say he's less capable than other nobles? Definitely not. He's the most clever person I know. Then you have your answer. I also happen to house a promising young man in the villa. He's an orphan, but a genius when it comes to magic. Prodigies exist. Overlooking them because of titles or birth is foolish. But this conversation will stay between us, milady. I don't intend to make any enemies myself, either. You sound like Marius. I bet you two would get along. I wonder how he's doing now. I'm sure your retainers are all right. For tonight, at least, enjoy your rest. You've done well to come here. You're right, thank you. Would you like some more wine? I was really surprised how fast you emptied the previous one. You do take from your father. You really think so? Well then, I'll just take one more. Ugh. I finally found you, milady. The governor told me you were already back in your room. What are you doing here? Oh, Ursula. It's Ursula. Well, just hold on. Milady, are you... Oh, Ursula, you're mean. Your armor's too big. Take it off. I knew it. You're drunk. I am not. Yes, that's usually what drunk people say. And she's red wine drunk, too. This is not good. This is very specifically bad. By all dragons, if this reaches the king's ears, I'm doomed. My father had nothing to do with it. I'm an adult now. There's a proper age for everything, milady. And you haven't reached the age for liquor yet. As a matter of fact, even if you were of age, it is my duty to avoid this kind of situation. You're such a mood killer. And I told you to remove this armor. It's spiky. All right, we need to get you to your room quickly before anyone sees you like this. Also, the governor is going to get an earful from me. Ursula, I want a hug. A big hug. She's not just drunk, but White Crow drunk. The most powerful. I mean, at least this is red wine. If this were a White Claw, if White Claw somehow existed in the world of Esperia, the scene would go on about 60 minutes longer. I somehow hope you won't remember this tomorrow. Ursula, this is an order. I want a hug. Also, I hope I forget it too. Heart of Heiser. Do you think it was like Costco box wine? If they didn't have good stuff at this castle, I would be very surprised. Alright. So... cut from the voice acting from a bit. So yeah, I think that was a good case. I think that's the first time, because there was a we did have a choice earlier in the game about picking the mushrooms, but I didn't really talk about it a whole lot. And then this one was the first one, I think, where we really got to like see it and see in this stream, like really pay attention to what the choices do, like kind of adding different little scenes, which I really appreciate, because I'm not sure if you're a how much like Three Houses or anything you played, but the one thing that drives me personally crazy about a game like Three Houses or a lot of RPGs is where they have choices, and not so much that choices should necessarily affect like big story events, but a lot of times it sort of felt like you would choose like a dialogue option, and then you would get maybe like one or two reaction lines, and then we would like move on. One of the things I appreciate here is, like, earlier we got a unique item because we went out and did the, well, not necessarily a unique item, but we got an item as a product of the choice. We got the Amadeus because we went and picked mushrooms and we went out there. And then this time we got, like, an extended little scene that was different. So I do like that the choices, so far they've been very, like, small stakes, but I really feel like what I'm enjoying is that I'm getting, at least an interesting scene or an interesting, like, complete interaction out of it. Even if it's not hugely story significant, which I really appreciate that, and I enjoy that. Add that little bit of role playing in there. Was there a process you had for, like, when you would decide to give a choice? Like, what made you decide that, like, okay, this is an interaction where I want the player to have a choice instead of having Diana just make the decision on her own?
Yeah, that's actually an interesting question. I mean, the very first choice was put here because I needed a choice to introduce it in the tutorial. And I found interesting, like, you have the three choice, and each of them give you like a different scene with a different character. So one is with Sylvie, another with Alex, another with Ursula, and they will change the relationship points between you and this character and give you like different lore aspect or things like this, or character development. But other than that, like, you have some of the choice that have like an importance in the same map or in the next map. Like this one is just here for fun. Like the wine one, I think I did it very lately. I think it was like in. I mean, the game was almost finished, and I probably added it like in 2021 or 2022, something like this. But yeah, it really depends. You have like because I mean, I could have done an entire like linear and like what I call kinetic novel, even though you have like a gameplay phase. But I could have done one without choices. But yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes it's good to have like to be able to change a bit what's happening. So yeah, I'm not sure what really is the game design process behind it. Except for those that really affect the map or things like this, like you have a couple of choices where you will like choose or you attack a fortress, for example, or things like this. But if you remove those, no, it mainly comes when you write the story and you say, oh, there could be a choice here, and sometimes you don't do it because you say, yeah, Diana will just pick this. And sometimes you say, oh, yeah, maybe I could do like an extra scene. It's just, I mean, the scene has to be worth it somehow. So it's not just about getting an item or getting a skill or whatever. It's like you need to add something different enough so that the player will want to replay it and try the option. But not too different because it shouldn't like change the overall narrative. Otherwise, you go into too many branches and it's impossible to.
Yeah,
to
it's why there was no choice to just pick up your weapon and just stab the guy. You know, because that would be like super altering to something.
I mean, when you have too many choices, it's a bit of a bother actually. So just try to put a bit of them. I mean, I don't even think you have one. You may have one per chapter. Probably not. But it's really just here to. It's also changed the pace of the reading because like you suddenly have a choice, so it break a bit the long reading phases, and give you like another option, a different thing to do.
It is interesting though for you to say that like there wasn't necessarily like a thought process. It was just sort of something that you like kind of, not that you weren't thinking, but that you felt it, you were feeling it out. That it was right for the scene. You weren't following like okay, there has to be one every chapter, there has to be one here. Also, hello Cabooses. What have I just walked in on? Esperia, Uprising of the Scarlet Witch, a SRPG. Pick it up now on Steam. I linked in the description. I linked to Steam. I actually don't know if that Steam link. I'm gonna double check it right now. The link works. I'm just curious if it shows you the bundle. Yeah, it takes it to the bundle. It doesn't take you to the bundle, but you can see the bundle in there, the SRPG bundle. I just wanted to double check that.
Yeah, also just to address someone in the chat, no, the choice won't unlock you a good unique 17 chapter from there. I actually thought about this for the bad end, but I personally don't like it when I play visual novel when you do like one choice early on and you just figure out 10 chapters later that it was the wrong choice. And like, okay, do you want me to replay the 10 hours I just played? That's not nice. So no, I don't do it.
That feels like that's such a 90s thing to do.
Yeah, it's not. Definitely not. But there are characters that you can miss the recruitment of. Actually, you have 3 characters. You three get an achievement on Steam if you get those 3, so they're not that easy to get. Yeah, one is pretty easy. The 2 other are a bit. You have to change your thought process to get them.
Now, Are there any mutually exclusive characters, or is it just those three, and you can miss them
No,
or get them, and you can get everyone?
there is two mutually exclusive character depending on the choice. Actually, the dynamics. So yeah, you have no case where it's important. It's the very latest character you get, the final one, which is basically like the level 18 class up class that you have during one chapter. This one change depending on the choice you've made in the game.
Hmm. I am glad though that just hearing that at least there is like a pair of mutually exclusive characters, because I guess that's one of the hard things to balance with choices, because on one hand it's like you want choices to be meaningful, or you want there to be some meaningful choices. You don't want the player to feel like they got screwed over and picked like the wrong choice. So I do think it's cool when you have like both choices feel like you get something out of it, but it's like very different. Not that there's any, I think there are games where you can do like there are just wrong choices, but it really does depend on the game, I think, and the game's tone.
Actually, when I started Esperia, the first idea was to have a bad end in each chapter. If you had a game over, or if you do like bad choices. But well, first it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
and other than that, I just feel like the visual novel part is important, but I still do want the battle phase to mean something. So if you could also lose a character during the narration, I don't know, it feels a bit wrong to me. So like the choice inside the visual novel part will have an impact in the visual novel part, but some will have an impact of the map part, but you won't have like something very that will kill all your team, or that will put you in a very huge disadvantage.
Now we have here character Gustav. Older dude, looks like an armor knight. Some enemies can be converted. Yes, we can get this guy. When coming near an enemy unit that seems like it can switch sides, you can use the talk function. Try to talk with Gustav. So only some characters being converted depending on the situation. Okay, that is... Okay, so we can get in there and talk.
Yeah, in normal, I think it's the first chapter when you can actually lose a character. Because before, I don't know if you look at the victory condition, but all the map before, it was like if any unit die, it's game over. But in this one, you can actually lose a unit.
Yeah,
and if you lose unit, it change what happened after. It change what you need to have. Like basically, if you
so I noticed here the condition's just Diana losing is the only thing that kills you.
Yeah, so actually you could lose the 3 other, but then it would be already out to finish the game.
Okay, let's just kill it. I'm not going to try to recruit and block off the archer. I can probably just wait. Ooh, Jagan level up.
Yeah, that's a level up, I guess.
Yeah, plus HP is crazy, but it does feel... It feels in the spirit of it, that's for sure. Short sword. Okay, so I want the Draken on that.
But she does have a decent growth rate, actually. You're just unlucky.
Okay, so that was just... Is there are growth rates actually... are they visible? Or is there... Are they hidden? You said they're not visible?
Yeah, no, they're not visible.
Oh, nice job.
Yeah, actually, like, she have 60% strength and you didn't give it.
Great. Okay, Gustav does not move, so... we're gonna... I have no concern over Ursula being able to survive these guys, because it would be weird if enemies could just all of a sudden just kill her after being able to do no damage to her. It seems like still bows are the only serious threat to Ursula. But some weapons have special attributes. Diane's Spear Draken is effective against armored and mounted units. Okay, it's a shame this guy didn't move because I was like wanting him to. Okay, we can get info there.
Actually, this is the first map that feel a bit difficult if you're not used to Fire Emblem. Like I had a lot of people like who played the demo in like a convention or something like this, failed on this.
Yeah, because this like the numbers are still very much in my favor. Like the enemies are just not doing a whole lot of damage, but it does sort of feel like I'm being attacked from multiple sides. There's enemies coming from a lot of different places, so it feels like the first like squeeze, even if it's just like a very minor one.
Yeah, position is really important in this one. So
also Alex not missing 91s is really important, so hopefully he can doesn't make that same mistake again and die. There we go.
91%.
Yeah. Okay, speed and defense. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
defense
good.
is nice.
And it is just a survive map, so I don't have to be too reckless. One RN. It's one RN?
Yeah.
Is that an option in a SRPG Maker? Because I feel like every SRPG game I play is one RN. I don't know if that's a choice or not, or if that's just it defaults to 1.
I mean, if I remember, you can choose between 1 and 2, but you have a lot of scripts that let you do like 1.5 if you want, or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I just prefer 1 RN myself. So, but yeah, I think each one is 1 RN too. Yeah, it probably is too. So
yeah,
depends on what you like. Yeah, 1.5 RN is like when you. It's a word adjustment between 1 and 2. So, that's a bit hard to explain, but basically it's not as easy as 2 RN. It can give you, if I remember, it changes. It's 2 RN when you're over 50 and 1 RN below, something like this, or the reverse.
Yeah.
Reverse, I don't know. But sometimes 1 and sometimes 2, so everyone call it 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 is no, that's like that's Fates and Echoes do that if you've played those. Right, even with the effective damage we don't kill. Maybe we get that little skill to activate though? Nah, we just miss. We just miss 98s. Oh goody. I love it when that happens. Do you survive this guy? I feel like he probably won't. Oh no,
yeah.
The weapon triangle there
he
is
won't.
killed.
I mean, he can do a crit, but yeah, that's playing with fire.
Yeah, let's have an Amadeus. I know I got to visit that house, but I'm a little worried that if I visit it, it seemed like there's a healer in there, Sarah. I'm worried that she'll pop out and then have nowhere to run and get attacked by 3 different people. I don't really want that to happen. Oh, man.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Yeah, now that we have 100 hit. Because I guess from the level up. Must have done that. Okay, let's... Sir Gustav! I don't know, I just assumed she was a healer. Let's see.
Yeah, no, she's a sword fighter.
So your magical unit able to wield staves, it would be... Comes out big berserker axe. They can't be used for normal attacks or counterattacks, but they have special powers like healing. 3 types of artifacts, staves, charms, and orbs. Most magic units can master at least one of them. Staves are healing. Alright, so... We have heal. And we can use... Day magic, which is effective against, I guess, night magic. And then, what's our skill here? Healer gift. Sarah's always proficient with healing magic. Heals an additional 5 HP per heal. And I didn't look at Gustav's. Prudence. Neither Gustav nor his enemies can double. Ooh.
Yeah, that's the bested one.
That seems so good for a big, slow, chunky armor knight.
Yeah. Actually, it's the same that I think in Fate they give it by default to the knight on promotion, and I always found it like way too bested. You don't do that as a class. So it's a unique skill that only he has.
Okay. Is there any color coding to like the villages? Is it like red ones give items or yellow ones give info, or do you just have to look and see?
It's just that no, you look, and if it's written village, you have something, and if it's written info, you just have dialogue.
Okay, all right, we got some more healing and. All right, 0 damage. Good job, Gustav. If I ever make a game, I'm going to make my own completely original magic system, even if it means taking a dangerous number of mind-altering substances and locking myself in a bathroom for a week. Hey, whatever gets it done. So actually, I mean, like, that does open up kind of an interesting question, though, as far as, you know, was there, as far as the gameplay goes, was there any kind of gameplay feature that you just had a huge desire to, like, have in the game, something different that you really wanted to do, or were you, again, mostly just focused on, like the story?
Yeah, no, I really wanted to add the terrain modification and buff, because I always thought that Fire Emblem was lacking in this area. Basically, you have a whole game where you kind of go through the map with positioning as the best like tool, like whether you want to play player phase or enemy phase, it's all about positioning the good unit against other. And until Engage, they never had like something to change the terrain, something to change the field, or something to buff or debuff ally. I mean, if I guess the 7 had like those weird seals that you could put on the field and stop a unit, but that was about it. And I think it was such a missed opportunity. So yes, the main thing I added was like you have like 3 support magic. So the staff one, the charm, and orbs. And basically, staff is all the healing. So you have the normal healing, distant healing. You have area of effect healing also, like the halo in Engage. And you have staffs that will buff other units, so give them a boost in strength, speed, in defense. And not speed, every speed is charm. Strength, defense, resistance. You have the charms that affect the speed and movement, and also change the field. So you create rivers or forests or mountains. And You have the probes who do the opposite of basically stuff, so it's debuffing enemies, inflicting them with curse, silence, berserk, and doing area of effect damage, actually hurting the caster too. So, so this one is very hard because you do an area of effect that can hurt the caster and ally on top of enemies. So you really have to position it well.
Let's see, can I... Oh, that is a one around here.
Yeah, Steel Sword is a bit more heavy, I guess.
Yeah. It's always one of the first things always looking for is to see if weapon weight is a thing. I noticed build is a stat. I assume is build like your constitution. Does that what bases does that interact with weapon weight?
Yeah, that's it. I kind of hesitated. I put in strengths on it, but I stayed with the build one.
Yeah, I always find that with it's always interesting when constitution or your build is your strength, but it feels like it becomes irrelevant at a certain point because you just end up getting so strong. Ooh.
Yeah, that's it. And also like your mages,
they just always are going to get doubled.
Yeah.
Also, I like the skill we just got, plus 5% to all of our growth rates.
Yeah, and actually it's really the case, like once you get a skill, all our growth rate are improved by 5.
Dang, we won't be able to reach the
oh, you may
the
actually
village.
get everyone.
Yeah, because there's a turn 7, but I'll still get I gotta get my Gustav level up. Oh. Never mind. That's very disappointing. Strength as con only works when weapon weight is generally really high, and the strength to con, and there's a strength to con ratio like 1 to 5, so 3 houses did it right. This is a controversial statement to say 3 houses did it right. It is no matter what you're talking about, someone's gonna get mad. All right, let's see. Did we win? Well, I mean, we definitely won, but did we get someone killed? Nope.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
All right. Well, Lord Melphus, I'm gonna go ahead and just drop that file. I feel like that's a pretty good amount that we got through the game to show it off for one stream we got through. Because you'd said 4 chapters roughly is kind of like the tutorial in a sense.
Yeah, actually, the demo ends after chapter 4. Chapter 4, you have a secret chapter, so it ends after the secret chapters in chapter 4.
So I think that's where we'll go ahead and call this little showcase. We'll go ahead and end it off here because I think we got a good mix of everything. We got to see some more challenging gameplay towards the end because I didn't even get to reach all the houses. So I got to demonstrate skill issue at the game. We got through a lot of story, so I feel pretty good about this little sampling we got. Now, before we go, is there anything else you'd like to talk about with the game? Anything you feel like we didn't get a chance to really hit on? Or where people can find you and find the game?
Yeah, so currently the game is on Steam, as you just said. And
yes.
So you have the link in your description, I guess. Basically, I think I will. I'm trying to make it to Epic, so it will probably be on the Epic Game Store sometimes in the future. I just need to figure out how their achievement system works. But once I get that, I will probably do too. But for now, it's just on Steam. So you have like the demo to cover the 4 first chapter. Yeah, I mean the one thing you didn't get because you didn't reach a base yet, it's the support part, the bonds. I would just say that's a really important part because, like, as I mentioned in the world before, like literally almost a third of the world length is on the bonds. it's the support that get like 1/3 of all the story, and it really helped develop like characters. It really helped develop characters, so it's a really nice thing. So if you play the game, I would love if you go and explore the bond. And yes, that's about it, I guess. And you also have different ending if you reach the maximum bond. So different character ending. But yeah, I think that's about it because we talked about almost everything. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to get to finally show off the game and finally get to really talk to you in depth about it, because this has been something that's been meaning to happen for a while. Just a point of mention about Steam, because next week, for everybody who's even somewhat curious about it, next week is Strategy Fest on Steam. So I assume the bundle that you all have put together is probably because of that, I would guess, or it's just a coincidence. I don't know, but so
yeah, and I mean, it would have been there anyway. I mean, it's not a temporary bundle. It's bound to be permanent. But yeah, it's the fact that the strategy fest is incoming is also a good reason why we put it there now. So yeah, it would be interesting.
All right. Well, thank you, PrismAlice, for joining, and thank you to everyone in chat for watching. And I hope you all decide to check out this game. I've had a ton of fun with it, and I hope you all do too. And I will see you next time, and we are gonna sign off. So goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.